Also a kick for me to be sitting now with Ron Jacobsohn, who just got back from Israel. You spent the week with your family.
I did.
And you're doing fabulous work for Shalom TV on
Thank
so
you, Mark.
many fronts. And thank you for sitting in for me, and you'll be doing so again. I will be taking some time to, where am I? I will be taking some time to be preparing for the Jewish high holidays, and Ron, Micah, Ellie, everybody will be filling in for me, and then I'll be back. But I really wanted to hear from you. What was it like the week you were there? You were so instrumental in helping us create our programming, Israel in Turmoil. But now you were back in Israel.
Yeah.
You have 2 girls, you have your own.
A boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl, I'm sorry. First of all, what was the mood of your wife and family and your children? And then, extend it out to your personal friends. And then, you met with many people, you were in the street. Tell our audience, what's the sense you have of where Israel is today after Protective Edge?
First of all, if I don't mention their names here, Jonathan and Jaden,
Your children.
they said, Dad, you mentioned our name on TV, so here I did.
Good for you.
So,
You're a good Abba.
So what was interesting to see how resilient the Israelis are. I mean, Protective Edge just ended like a few days ago, and it's already forgotten.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing that was interesting that when they started a new school year in Israel, most of the school did not have a beginning of the year celebration because they couldn't rehearse because they were running between the sirens all the time. So they're going to have a big celebration come Rosh Hashanah. But Israelis have all but forgotten about it, and now there's a new threat because ISIS is just on the borders around Israel, and the Israeli media has been talking about cells within Israel already. Supporters of ISIS within Israel, that they found the flag of ISIS on Temple Mount, which is very alarming. Those people, if we were dealing with Hamas and Al Qaeda before, those are like 50 steps above that in the craziness. So this is the new threat, and everybody's been talking about that. And thankfully, when the NATO was meeting now in Edinburgh, that is.
Where President Obama is.
Exactly. And they were talking about this and the coalition of nations against ISIS because this is really the new threat coming to Israel. And maybe now that there's a world coalition, so to say, to fight that, there will be also support in Israel once those people start doing their craziness.
Okay. Permit me to push you just a little bit.
Yes.
It is so hard to believe that Israel could be in a prolonged weeks and weeks of war, lose 70 and more Israeli soldiers. There was, as we were reporting here on Shalom TV, an apparent feeling within many in Israel that it was time for Israel not to stop and to put an end to Hamas. At one point, Benjamin Netanyahu was talking about demilitarizing Gaza. It's hard to believe that within a week, the Israeli people have forgotten it, and it isn't in some way still part of the discussion. Speak about that a little bit more.
Well, the thing is that you need to continue with life, so you have a kind of an amnesia, like you forget what happened because you need to continue with your routine. Because if that's going to plague you, you'll be, decapitated of doing your daily routines. It will be back in the headlines in a week or two because come the 20th of September, the negotiations are supposed to start again between the Hamas and Israel. There's now all this talk, will the PA be part of it or not? There has been some leak from the Egyptian press, which has made headline today in Israel, that President al-Sisi is maybe thinking of giving some of the Sinai Peninsula to a Palestinian state, and everybody was saying, wow, what is this going to happen? Egypt, of course, said no, we didn't say that, but somehow this was leaked. So it's going to be interesting to follow what those negotiations will come to. No one knows, but the children, even the little children, my children are 8, started 3rd grade. They know about those negotiations, and they were saying,
do they?
Yes, they said, in a few weeks they'll start negotiating again, and maybe they'll start throwing rockets again at us. I mean, it's out there. People, even the little kids, know that this might return.
You're an Abba, a father. Do you feel your children were affected long term in any way by the Hamas firing into. You live near Tel Aviv, in Tel Aviv, and in general, a feeling that they are vulnerable. How do you feel your children have reacted?
I mean, it has affected them, and it will be something that they will remember forever. I think we also talked on the air, the thing of my daughter in the middle of her shower, there was a siren, and she had to put the towel on, and how cold it was, and all that. She keeps talking about that. I mean, this is something that
8 years old.
Yes, I mean, this is something that will stay on for her probably as a memory, even when she's going to be an adult. And this was just one occasion, one girl. I mean, there's probably so many stories of little kids who will be plagued by this memory forever. You know, having a siren in the middle of something, sometimes it was the middle of the night, sometimes it was the middle of dinner, something, you know, this is something you won't forget.
Okay, and there's nothing like a mother's love. Mm-hmm. Tell me how your wife feels about the entire event, especially as it relates to her children.
Well, it's a lot of pressure because, you know, you go to work, you go out or somewhere, and then you are in constant fear what's going to happen to your children. And I could see that also in school. The headmasters and the teachers, they are also in anxiety. What's going to happen when the next sirens comes? You know, they have already set up a system of text messaging to the parents that if something like that were to happen, you know, once everyone is in a bomb shelter, all the parents get a text message saying your kids are safe. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, Israel and technology, you know, we talked about the app, we talked about all this stuff, and they always think a step ahead of how, you know, to make the parents feel at ease because, you know, you're panicking. You don't know if the school was hit or if everybody managed to get into the shelter, etc. So.
Okay. And at the same time, Ron, the adult community of Israel is going on with its life. This is now a past event.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Last question. As an Israeli, are you optimistic about the short-range future for the Israeli people?
As in, like, peace negotiations?
Just, do you think life will be good for your family, for your friends? You know, whether your family comes to the United States or not, you'll have family and friends in Israel. Short term, I'm not talking about the next 60 years. The next year or two, do you expect life to be good for your friends and the Israeli people?
Well, if you talk about daily routine, then yes, because Israelis, as I said, they have this amnesia, they're resilient, they're forgetting and getting on with life because you've been to Israel, you know how it is. It's all about living and going out and going to events, and they're not plagued by everything that is happening around them. But if we talk bigger picture, it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight.
It does not. Kol tuv v'hatzlacha to you.
Thank you.
You're doing fabulous work. It's wonderful to have you back. Ron Jacobsohn, who you see very often and who does wonderful things that you don't see for Shalom TV. And wasn't it wonderful that Ira asked us about the future?
I know. I had literally tears in my eyes when we started talking about it. And we, of course, have not said anything yet.
Nothing. But it's all coming. Ron Jacobsohn.